This is Natasha D'Souza reporting for SALT Voices, and I'm here at SALT Abu Dhabi with Simon Hopkins, the CEO of Milltrust Group International. Welcome to SALT Voices, Simon.
Thank you.
Good to have you here, and I hear some very interesting things came out of the panel that you were just on here on day 2 of SALT Abu Dhabi. Take us through some of those main key takeaways.
It was a fascinating panel because we really covered a huge array of topics. We covered climate change, which has enormous ramifications for our ability to produce food. We covered large-scale agricultural production, provenance of food, where is it coming from, is it sustainably produced, is it safe to consume? And then we covered some of the challenges in this part of the world of food security. And we also talked about health.
You covered a lot, enough for a conference on its own.
In 30 minutes.
Take me through one or two of the highlights, I guess, from the climate change aspect, provenance aspect. I'd love to know, I think, what are the top of the line things that, we as an audience need to keep in mind when it comes to those specific subjects?
Yes. I think what's happened in this part of the world is that people have recognized the challenges of water and the challenges of climate. And naturally, you can produce certain things in the GCC, such as leafy greens and strawberries, and you can produce those hydroponically with some degree of success, competitively in the marketplace. We produce something called insect protein. It's one of the investments that we've made through our association with the Rosalind Institute, which has a lot of expertise in this area. The Rosalind Institute produced the first ever cloned large animal 20 years ago called Dolly the sheep.
Yes,
you
Dolly
may
the
remember.
Sheep, I remember.
Well, today our expertise is in small animals. And one of the things that we are doing is commercializing the production of insect protein, not for humans to consume directly, but as a source of animal feed. So feedstock.
Feedstock.
Yes, that's one of the great challenges in the world because we're tearing down the rainforests to produce soy. We're shipping it across the world to be turned into produce which we consume or to feed to animals. And that has a huge carbon footprint. So we're trying to now develop alternative sources of feedstock. Another thing that we do that we talked about is we grow something called duckweed, lemna, in India and various parts of the world. This has been used as a feedstock for fish for 1,000 years, but it's never been produced on an industrial scale. And today this is a product that which you can grow with 98% more water efficiency than growing soy. You can grow it in arid parts of the world. You don't have to therefore have the heavy rainfall or grow in the tropics. And you can feed this to fish and chicken. And that's an alternative source that we will see over the course of the next 10 years becoming a vital source of feedstock so that we can produce more protein, so we can feed a growing population.
This gets me thinking, so much of the conversation also about the future of food looks at how do we get humans, or at least that class of humans who are typically meat eaters, onto alternative meats or cell-cultured meats. But at the same time, what I'm hearing is it's also important for us to look at feedstock so that we can sustain conventional methods of animal rearing.
People in the world want to eat real meat. I understand that the plant-based alternatives are important, and that's another great place where people are making a lot of money investing in this innovation. One other area is compostable packaging. If you think today that plastic is the source of most packaging and 80% of it is unnecessary, there are companies today coming out of Harvard and Oxford University that produce a compostable packaging made of peas. So we're growing plants to create an alternative to plastic, which is also an important part of the food chain because food security is about delivering water, delivering food in packaging which is safe.
Interesting. There's just so much here that I find incredibly fascinating.
Now, it's a vast subject.
Talk to me about it. I had a conversation a couple of days ago with someone about biohacking as well, and how increasingly as human beings we're becoming so particular about our individual health status. There's so much conversation around gut health. And I see how the more enlightened and evangelized we become about the future of food and the dietary choices we must make, could biohacking increasingly play a larger role in terms of the decisions we make about what to consume?
Absolutely. I think people are much more conscious about what goes inside their body. because as a human being, you have more foreign DNA in your body than human DNA, the trillions of microflora that are inhabiting your gut. And how you manage that, the symbiosis of your life and the way you lead your life and the food that you consume, is so important for your health. It might even be linked to the onset of congenital diseases. So if you and your family have a condition that you know about and you want to try to manage, it may be manageable through the food that you consume. You remember when your mum used to say, you are what you eat?
Yes.
Well, that's now becoming a very important, not simply an adage, but a truism.
Okay, truism. Fascinating. And what has your experience been like at SALT Abu Dhabi?
Fantastic conference, full of interesting people, a great way to access the key institutions here in the region who are all present. And the topics, I think, have been very illuminating as well.
I mean, clearly, I have just already been illuminated from the short discussion that we've had. Thank you so much, Simon, for being here. It's been wonderful speaking with you.
Lovely to talk to you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.